Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Cap Social Network, aka Capri Social Network. First and foremost, I wanted to let all my followers know that today is a special day by it being my birthday. So feel free to write down below, wish me a happy birthday in the comment section, which I really would appreciate. Anyway, and on that note, I wanted to discuss why black single mothers, black American single mothers will forever remain single. First and foremost, most men, or I just put it another way, the average man that's childish, the average brother, excuse me, because I had the burp just then, that is childish, doesn't want to deal with a woman that already has kids, either a kid or in most cases kids outside of marriage due to all the drama that it comes with. However, there are some men, because everybody's different and to each their own, who will be willing to still be foolish enough to take on fathering another man, or in most cases men's children from a previous relationship, and in some instances even marriages, either marriage or marriages. Also, you have to factor in how the average black single mother usually picks some of the worst groups of men to have kids with, to be productive and multiply with, due to how quite a bit of black American women are into toxic men, toxic and dysfunctional men, the same types of men who they regularly like to complain about, either if not using to their girlfriends, using to some of their female relatives, if not some of their girlfriends or female relatives, go on social media wanting to get other people's feedback and take on what should they do about being in toxic relationships, and in some instances having kids by some of the most toxic guys. And to be honest, black women, you have no one to blame but yourselves. With that being said, you have several black single mothers, some that actually did, very few that may have actually gotten married before having kids, only to end up getting divorced in the long run, and they still those appear on shows such as the Kendra G show. Because if you pay close attention, ladies and gentlemen, most of the women that have kids usually on there already are either single or divorced mothers. More single mothers usually than anything, single black mothers that is. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of these same exact females always want some of the most highest earners, highest earning and successful men they can find, instead of choosing those types of men to start with. They always choose the most bottom of the barrel, lowest at the totem pole men to have kids with, men that, figuratively speaking, can't even rub two nickels together. To be honest, both figuratively speaking and literally speaking. But it goes for those types of men, choose those types of men to have kids with anyway. In some instances, even guys that may have been in jail, in prison several times, guys that used to infect them with numerous STDs, and in some instances, some of the most fatal STDs, still choose to have kids by those types of guys, only to want the upstanding, decent, and career-oriented brothers with a good head on their shoulders to pick up the bad boys' pieces, figuratively speaking, both figuratively speaking and literally speaking. To put it another way, a lot of women, a lot of you black single mothers who may have made some of the most biggest mistakes, picking some of the most down on they look men, some of the most toxic and dysfunctional men, every time those guys used to haul ass on you, abandon you, and in some instances, due to your bad attitudes, your consistent mood swings, and just do, when it all comes down to, also how a lot of you are so hard to deal with. Not only that, you don't know what you want when it all comes down to it as well, because some of you will also have kids by those types of men, men that are no good, men that always causing you problems by cheating on you, abusing you either physically, mentally, or usually what else? Physically, mentally, and in some cases verbally. To be honest, all of the above usually. Yeah, you have guys that usually have verbally abused you, physically abused you, and mentally abuse you. The types of guys that are considered not narcissists. Some of you also may have married other men who you didn't have kids by after having your kids by some of the most unfit men to be fathers to your kids, only to still be fooling with those same baby daddies, toxic and problematic baby daddies of yours that you complain about while married to your current husbands. Not only that, you getting child support from them same types of men that you may have had kids with from either previous marriage or relationship with. On top of that, some of you are so big of that whores that you also have an extra dude on the side as well by having baby daddies from, like I was just stating, a previous relationship or previous relationships in most instances, in some instances, previous marriages. You have those you still are fooling around with, your current husband, who in some cases you're not being intimate with at all. You just want them most of the time. The guy you did decide to marry due to his resources, due to him being able to provide for your kids, and then another dude who you are strictly with just for recreational purposes, if you catch my drift, for sexual purposes. Anyway, and on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show several clips, all on behalf of TikTok, indicating one of them in particular indicating why there remain so many single black women in America until this day, blaming the men. And the ironic part of this clip is that the same woman, Jazz and Reloaded, I believe will be her handle, her social media handle, had all of her kids outside of marriage, believe it or not. How ironic is that? And how I also equate that to quote unquote the pot calling the kettle black. After that, I'm going to show other clips on behalf of why some guys don't want anything to do with being a stepfather due to all the drama and the toxicity that it usually comes with, all the baggage that it comes with, all the problems that it usually comes with. I'm also going to show you a few clips courtesy of Kevin Samuels giving his take on why black women will always have a hard time being in long-term relationships due to their out of wedlock births and them having kids out of wedlock. On top of that, I'm going to show around 2 clips courtesy of the TikTok show on her. I'm trying to matchmake with 2 women, 2 sisters who have kids, multiple kids by multiple men, but still expect a man to be gullible and foolish enough to be in a long-term relationship with them anyway. One, with that being said, who wants a provider or who is a mother with 4 kids by 2, 3 different men, but wants a man making $100,000 at the minimum, which to me is just straight up delusional and foolish. Anyways, folks, here are the clips.
Has been windmilling ever since I said go talk to the men in that video about being able to solve the problem of unwed births and single mothers. Go talk to the men, stop talking to the women. So this gentleman says 70% of black kids are born out of wedlock, 25% white, and 10% Asian. The black community has a plethora of baby mamas. But why does the black community have a plethora of baby mamas? because of Black men's aversion to marriage. Let's get into the receipts. Okay, so this is from Pew Research, and basically it's chapter 1, living arrangements and father involvement. The article is called A Tale of Two Fathers. Okay, so share of fathers with non-marital births. Okay, share of fathers with non-marital births: Caucasian 37%, Hispanic 59%, right? So that would explain why their unwed births of their women is so low, because these men are not having unwed births by large and in majority. They are instead having more children in marriage than they do out of marriage. For Black men, however, okay, the share of fathers with non-marital births, that is out of wedlock births, is 72%. 72%. Okay? And the share of fathers with non-marital births, the top two age groups that this is taking place is 20 to 24 and 25 to 29. Now, like I said to you before, majority of the babies born are born to women in their 20s. Let's keep going. Among Black men, 72% have had a child out of wedlock and 48% have had one in marriage. Now, the interesting thing about this 48% is that these are men who either had multiple children with different women, and one is out of wedlock and the other is in a marriage. And it's also, they could have had a baby out of wedlock with the same woman and then later had a kid in wedlock with the same woman. But for Black men that had all their children in wedlock, every single one of them, even if they had multiple wives, is 24.9%. Only 24.9% of Black fathers have had all their children in wedlock. It goes on to say, Black biological fathers are far less likely than Caucasian biological fathers to be married to the mother of their children. Some 36% of Black men are in this situation, compared with 59% for Caucasians. Among Hispanic biological fathers, this share is 50%. So again, Black men have the lowest percentage of men that are currently married to the mother of their children. Okay. So when they're talking about, current marriage, this was 2014, I believe. 2015 was the year of this study. Now let's go on. Education is closely linked with the likelihood of a biological father's being married to the mother of his children. Among fathers with less than a high school diploma, 40% are married to their children's mother. The share rises to 50% for fathers who have a high school diploma. For fathers with at least a bachelor's degree, the share married to the mother of their children jumps to 83%. Right? Now, in the Black community, what is one of the issues we have? The men in our community are the least educated. They're the least likely to have a bachelor's degree. Literally, I think only 36% of them who attend college even complete and finish and get their degree. Now, this article, also by Pew Research, reaffirms this. College-educated men take their time becoming dads, okay? For more educated men, fatherhood starts later. Okay, share of men by age at birth of their first child and by educational attainment, right? So, bachelor's degree or more, okay, 42% get married 25 to 29, 44% get married 30 to 44. 2-year degree, some college, right? And it shows you the high school graduates, then it shows you less than high school graduates, okay? So that lower the educational attainment, the least likely they are to be married to the mother of their children. And the more likely they are to also be a younger father. Now I'm going to take you to this article. Nearly 2/3 of mothers continue to be family breadwinners. Center for American Progress. This is going to show you about Black women being breadwinners and why that is the case. So it has something to do with employment. Now, this is an older article, but I still believe that it plays into family formation or lack thereof. If increasing levels, how does economic uncertainty affect family formation behavior? In general, uncertainty affects the sense of predictability of life decisions, the sense of being able to predict and plan the future. Without the ability to predict the future, it becomes difficult to make long-term plans. Under such circumstances, it becomes desirable to be open-ended, to be non-committal, in order to respond flexibly to changing circumstances. Demographers have long documented the negative association between economic downturn or uncertainty brought on by war in marriage. The increasing vulnerability of disadvantaged Black males to the vicissitudes of the economy seems to explain their avoidance of marriage and their increasing involvement in loose consensual unions. Being involved in such unions and parenting children out of wedlock are ways of simultaneously keeping one's options open and affirming oneself. At the same time, upper-class Black people seem to have maintained flexibility to respond to economic uncertainties, mostly due to increased opportunities. By relying on divorce and separation and non-marriage, although the level of family non-formation and breakup among upper-class Black people may be higher than that experienced by other upward mobile groups. These problems are probably driven by the same factors. Upwardly mobile marital partners separate and divorce primarily because of the uncertainty they face as they negotiate careers and occupational change. So again, I stand on what I said previously in this video in which I responded to you. Click that comment, y'all, to see the video I'm talking about. Okay? Y'all keep talking to Black women when you need to be talking to Black men. A lot of these problems in this community could be solved if y'all would just get in their ass. Okay? But, don't listen to me. Just keep dealing with the same bullshit for another 100 years.
Night on Clapbacks Live. Shout out, brother. It was great conversations that were had there. But I want to hone in on one part of the conversation about Black men being stepfathers, and it was a bunch of points that were made to some women in the panel, and no matter what the men said about the issues they have with it, it was rejected. And Grandma pointed out the fact that women have asked men to do this. Hey, be transparent, be honest, let us know what you're thinking, and all this other stuff, right? But when we do, it's rejected. It's rejected. Oh, you can't feel this way. You shouldn't feel this way. And it's just crazy that Black men are expected to accept just anything. But when you talk to a Black woman, we shouldn't have to settle. We're not going to settle, right? And the best I can explain it was that the reason for men to have children is because they want to continue their legacy, their bloodline. That's the reason for a man to have children, and another woman's child is not their legacy. That child, when that child gets older, could say, all right, I don't even have nothing to do with you no more. And we've built a bond with this child and supported this child up until left the house, and now that, is nothing, right? And, I couldn't fully express it because you got a lot of people on the panel or whatever, but I'm going to let this sister, right? This video popped up, but I think these phones be listening to us. I swear I think these phones be listening to us. But this video popped up on one of my feeds, and I'm going to play the video now. So check it out.
You got a lot of women. You could have had a good man. You didn't want him because he was a cornball. You mess around with a bozo, have a baby by the bozo, and after you have a baby by the bozo, now all of a sudden you want to spin the block to the nigga that you didn't want to begin with. There are, and I'm not saying all, but there are a lot of single mothers who go after weak men.
Right. Mm-hmm. So
a lot of women will tell you, being a stepdaddy is honorable. And a lot of them, they know damn well that man ain't gonna get nothing out of it. They know damn well that they can up and leave, take half of his income, get alimony, depending on if they are able to swindle him into legally adopting the children. They can put him on child support. In certain states, you don't even have to have the man legally adopt him. If you can prove that he played a father figure role, you can put that man on child support. When men decide to take on responsibilities that are not theirs, they're taking a very big risk. I do not, me personally, because I can only speak for me, I do not see how it's worth it. When women are usually the ones that leave the relationships. Imagine getting into a relationship with a woman, she got a child, you become attached to the child, then she up and leave, knowing you got an attachment to that child, and then she look at you and say, "You're not your kid, no way."
Himself in the flesh. Would you advise him to go the stepdaddy route, Marty?
No, if you have
Why
no
not?
children, I'm not saying that if you have children as a woman that you shouldn't have a man. You should
Wow.
have a man who has children. But if you are a man and you have no children, then you would be a fool to give such a meaningful commitment to a woman who has already given the most valuable thing she has to give in exchange for that commitment to a man who did not marry her. And if she was married and she's a divorcee, then if you fall in love with somebody and you believe this is your fucking soulmate, then it is what it is. But for you to line yourself up with somebody and even deal with a woman who's in that position, I strongly recommend not doing that. You could fall in love with the kids and then break up. And now not only did you lose your girl, but you lost your children. That is a heartbreak. It's one of the biggest heartbreaks you can experience in your life is to lose access to children that you take on the role of parent to. You can marry a woman and end up responsible for her children and have to pay child support. You could get have a woman who's got a daughter that falsely accuses you. You
Yep.
could end up fighting with the dad, or end up living a life where the father of those children has influence in your home.
Right.
All of those things, absolutely not. And the responsibilities you take on, college fund. If you got daughters, you're paying for weddings. Those are big responsibilities. First down payment, help them with their down payment on their first home. Cars when they turn 16 years old. Clothes for school and school supplies every single year. It's a big financial commitment to have children and to take care of the children of another man. If you are a childless man, you would be a fool to do that. Now, if you're a man and you already got kids, and you want to deal with a woman who has children already too, and y'all both divorcees, have at it. You adults, whatever. It'd be better if you can get a woman with no kids, but women who have no kids, who are still in childbearing years, are going to want to have another child, right?
Right.
So, and you shouldn't take on a woman who is in her childbearing years unless you are willing to give her a child. It is unfair for you to be with a woman that you don't want to give a child to, who is in her child.
Which how he just mentioned that women have women that already may have had kids from either previous relationship or a previous marriage may have guys that is not the kid's dad, usually going as far as paying for weddings. If they may have a daughter, the woman may have a daughter from either a previous relationship or marriage, and going as far as helping the kids, the stepkids, his stepkids, buy a car, and even going as far as helping his stepkids pay their cars, pay on the cars or the car notes. Shame on you guys for doing so. For all you who are partaking in doing things just to be able to win favor when not just the mother, but the mother's kids or your stepkids. To me, that's just straight up foolish. But to each their own. This is just both my personal and honest opinion. You don't have to go by what I say. Once again, I just think it's foolish to be able to want to partake in taking care, especially on behalf of you men without kids at all, but are foolish enough that, or let me rephrase that, some of you men, on behalf of some of you men without kids at all, but are willing to take on bearing a burden or burdens of taking on another man's kids in most instances. To me, in my personal honest opinion, I would prefer, that's why I always have preferred women without kids. And then even when you do go as far as bearing the burden of taking on another man's kids and providing for another man's kids as a stepfather, you best believe, fellas, the baby daddies, in most instances, since so many Black women have kids by not just one man, but several men. With that being said, I used to work on one of my old jobs on young female that happened to be between the age of 18 and 20 years of age, happened to have 3 kids at the time. I'm telling you, with that being said, fellas, these women are starting out more and more younger. As a result, grandparents are becoming more and more younger due to how there are females nowadays, whether you believe it or not, that having kids as young as 13, 14, 15 years old. But like I just stated, a lot of the baby daddies, once they find out how foolish you are by bearing on the burden of taking care and providing for their kids, in some instances, fellas, to all you stepfathers, those baby daddies making fun of you. For instance, once those baby daddies may find out, he may be like, that FUCKNIGGA, taking care, a fool enough to take care of all of my kids, and then laughing while telling his homeboys about it, some of his relatives about it as well. Anyway, let me proceed.
Bearing years. So, for me, if you are a young man and you don't have any kids, you don't deal with baby mamas or divorcees. If you fall in love and lightning strikes and it's your fucking soulmate, then it is what it is. But to approach life where you're just dating women who are in these circumstances indiscriminately, that is foolish, and I do not recommend it.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. How old are you?
36.
Okay. Married, single, or nah?
Definitely.
Definitely, yeah.
Definitely, yes.
You have any children?
I do. I have a son.
Okay. How old is he?
10.
Okay. How long were you with the child's father?
I was with him for 6 years.
Are you divorced?
No, we never got married.
Any particular reason why?
It wasn't a healthy relationship.
Oh, another toxic relationship.
I mean, I got in it when I was young. You know, right? It's like status quo. But I got into it when I was younger. Because I had my son at 26. He and I got together when I was 23.
I'm shaking my head because I need you ladies to understand how full of sound. Y'all come in the same toxic relationships. No, listen.
Okay.
Y'all all sound full of shit to us when you come in and talk about a toxic relationship that you were in for multiple years. We don't believe you.
I agree. I understand. I get it.
So it wasn't a good situation. Then
right.
Why did you make a baby?
Because, to be honest, when you're
because you were having unprotected sex, you weren't young.
Right.
You were 26.
When I got pregnant, correct.
You weren't young.
Which I understand. I'm not disagreeing with you.
So what I'm saying is what?
So then why do it, right?
Did you read? Did you listen to what I just read about the woman who was a single mother? Mm-hmm.
I did. So
that's you.
Not necessarily. Every situation is
Okay, this is what they want to believe, that yes, that's for them, but I'm special. No, you're not. Listen,
Yeah.
men on the open market find out you have a baby and they just say that she's having sex. Men look at you as men look at single mothers as sexual options first. And
Okay.
I don't care if you believe it. I don't care if you like it. That's the truth.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
So that's the point. So I'm saying this for you and for all the other women.
Yeah.
If you choose to make babies before you get married, then you decide that was a choice you made.
Right.
So you've decided to do it. You were having unprotected sex. You knew what you were doing.
Right.
Y'all could have went to the justice of peace at any time in those 6 years, but you chose not to. But why did you choose not to?
Because it was mentally, emotionally, and I mean, it was a bad situation. I got into the relationship looking for nothing, to be honest, right? Like how you've said before, when people you don't know, you're not looking for a husband, right? So I was just like out there free willy-nilly it. I wasn't looking for anybody. So now that once I decided to leave the situation was because I knew exactly the why, right?
No, it makes no sense to me as a man. But you just decided to see all this would have been all right as long as you didn't get pregnant.
And I do commend the late great Kevin Samuels for saying how the average man looks at unwed mothers, specifically unwed black mothers, by this being a black woman who he was giving his take on why men dislike being stepfathers to. I do agree totally on when he said how lots of men look at women that are unwed and they're single, they're both unwed and single mothers as recreational use. To put it another way, they look at them as only women to do random hookups with or on behalf of sexual purposes. And in addition, ladies and gentlemen, there are so many women that are on dating apps nowadays, so many of them that happen to be unwed mothers, but still are looking for guys to only do random hookups with. Now, in a sense, I do commend the women that are that way by being straightforward with the guys. For all you that are unwed and single mothers that look to hook up with guys or on behalf of sexual recreational purposes, at the same time and in the same breath, a lot of you don't realize how your reputation has already been damaged, especially on behalf of you unwed and single mothers that happen to have your kids by more than one man, your multiple kids by multiple men. Your reputations are definitely tarnished. Anyway, let me proceed with the rest of this video by showing around 2 more TikTok clips.
That's willing to pick up the pieces. It's always gonna be a simp that's willing to deal with whatever it is that he's willing to deal with. They're gonna simp the fuck out, right? It's gonna be a dude that fucked her, and you know, he's gonna make sure that he got the best out of her, and then she's gonna come back to you, and then you gonna propose to her, and then you're gonna be a step baby daddy as a result of it. And then you know, everybody's gonna live happily ever after, and he's supposed to pick up the pieces that the dudes that fucked her already then had her in the community. Right? The most value that she can add to you is her womb. Somebody that already took advantage of it, and then that's just gonna be the end of the story. Never become a stepfather. Never become a stepfather.
Never become a stepfather?
Never become a stepfather. No man that has no kids, that is at the top of his game, could ever subject himself to the idea, why would you become great make all of the sacrifices, and then go and take care of another man's kids? What benefit is that to you? Them kids don't even give a fuck about you. They don't even like you. They don't even look like you.
What about if you have kids? What about if the male has kids?
That's different. It's 100% different.
Three kids.
How old are your kids?
19, 14, and 2.
How old are you, Nisha?
I'll be 40 next month.
Okay. Do your kids have the same father?
3 fathers.
All right, why not with your
Daddies.
2-year-old dad?
I have to write a book to explain that to you.
Give me a paraphrase. Give me one chapter.
A narcissist.
What's some deal breakers?
Deal breakers are multiple baby mothers, more than 2, 3 kids.
Wait, hold on, Misha. And I say this with all due respect. You have 3 baby daddies.
But my kids are grown. My
but
children
you still
are
got
almost
3
grown.
baby daddies, so why can't he have multiple baby mamas?
Okay, so young baby mamas. Young kids, young baby mamas.
So we can have 3 baby mamas, but they just can't be young?
They can't be young kids. No.
So it's about the kids, not about the amount of baby mamas.
Both. I don't want no young kids, no multiple baby mamas with young kids.
How long baby mamas gotta be?
No, not the baby mamas. The baby mamas are adults, I'm assuming. No man with young kids. And
well, that's why I said
because
mamas. No, I get that, but you said not multiple baby mamas, and that's why I said you have 3 baby daddies. So you don't care how many baby mamas he has.
Right. Meaning no, like I said, no more. I have 3 baby daddies, so no more than what I have.
You sure about that? Let's play it back.
Some deal breakers.
Deal breakers are multiple baby mothers, more than 2, 3 kids, no more than what I have. 3.
That's multiple.
No more than, well, yeah, and there's men out there with more than that. So that's my max.
They're telling me this. You said no young kids, but you got a 2-year-old.
I do have a 2-year-old.
So why can't he have a young kid?
Because there's only room for one young kid. I don't want to deal with the young baby mom.
So you don't want to date yourself. So if you was a man, you wouldn't date you.
If I was yeah, I would date me.
Well, you have a 2-year-old, but you're saying if a guy had a 2-year-old, you wouldn't date him. So the things that you have, you wouldn't date.
As a man, for a man, yes.
So if you were a man with your resume, you wouldn't date yourself.
Probably not.
So, but you want a man to date you?
Absolutely.
KG, she want better for herself than herself. That's what you gotta understand. It's okay. I get what she was saying. It's okay to want better for yourself than yourself.
Wait, what does that even mean, Zach?
Why would I want myself when I can get better than myself? She want better than herself. She know her. She know her. She said it's only room for one baby. Duh, the one I already got. I understood you, baby. You should have called me.
Now, I believe I will have a good 1, maybe 2 more clips, and I'm gonna go to TikTok on behalf of being able to show these other 2, 1 maybe 2 clips, due to how I wasn't able to download them like I were with the previous clips.
Single mom says I value men, want to be stepdaddy.
Figure out like he has children? No, he doesn't have any children. Right. Man, I mean,
All right. So let's fast.
Like really
Hold on. Listen. Do you have a son or a daughter? Do you have a son?
I have 2 boys, a 1 and a 2
so let's fast forward. Let's fast forward 35 years. And your oldest son is an accomplished attorney making $400,000 a year. And you've had to work with your ex to put your son through, University of Alabama, through Harvard, through, junior law, all that stuff. And he comes home and says, Mama, I'm getting married to a woman, a woman with 2 kids. You're gonna say, all right, son, I worked all my life for you to go do that.
I wouldn't be happy at first. However, if she was
stop right there. Stop right there. Why wouldn't you be happy at first?
Because I'll be like, you can start your own family. However, if that's what you want, let's
not go down to however. Let's keep on that path. You can start your own family because
that'd be the right thing to do. That's what I.
Not the right thing, the better thing, because you didn't raise your son and go through all that for him to take over some other person's bills.
Yeah, that's true.
Welcome to you.
All right.
I'm sorry, man, but that's the truth. Are your children an asset?
I see what you're saying, but it's
but you still keep the but. Are your children, listen. Are your children an asset to another man?
They can be.
I didn't ask if they can. How can they be?
Some guys just want to be stepdaddy.
No. Tell me how they can be an asset.
Can't tell you nothing right now. Can't think of anything. So you got me. You're right.
Bottom line, man, you married a military guy. Why are y'all divorcing?
He was cheating, and we can't work it out because he's a narcissist. So
narcissist has he had a clinical designation of narcissist? Or are you just saying that?
Clinical medication. Something's going on.
Narcissists lack empathy. Okay, so a narcissist is a narcissist. He's been around children, so he has no. Okay, all right. I'm gonna say this, man. This whole high value thing has a lot of you ladies in a bad position. Man, you're in Alabama. You're a divorcee with 2 kids, and you want one. Do you care if he's black? The man is black.
I would prefer him to be black. Yes.
And that means you want 8% of black men. 8%. 8% of black men earn over $100,000, and they don't really tend to live in Alabama. That's 8%, regardless as to the age. 8%, regardless as to their current marital status. 8%, regardless as to sexual orientation. And you didn't make babies with an 8% man. You made babies with a guy in the middle. Please explain to me why you want a guy who's so high up now. That's what I really want to understand.
I feel there's nothing wrong with wanting a stepdaddy with high value. Like, it's okay for me wanting my kids to go to private school. Like,
really?
If that makes I think.
Tell me why. Tell me why it's okay.
Because if I find a guy and he's high value and he's okay with, I just don't see how it's like, oh, she got kids. Oh, I understand it is like more options out there, but just like, it's possible.
Really? So you don't see any problem, you don't see any issue with wanting your kids to go to private school that you cannot afford to pay for and your husband can't afford to pay for?
No, like if that's what I'm gonna
tell you this. That's one of the issues in our community, that a woman like yourself can honestly come up and say, I don't see any problem getting somebody who had nothing to do with this to pay for the bill. That's that welfare state mentality.
No,
That's
it's
that.
not. I think
Listen, listen. I'm not insulting you, man, but listen. You can't afford it. Your husband can't afford it. That means you don't get it. The only way you could get your kids in private school is to find somebody else who's willing to put your kids in private school. You want your kids in private school? Get a nanny, get a tutor, work with them to get them a scholarship. That's what you're supposed to do. Go get a second job. Go. Don't go get your hair
and that's
done.
another thing. Like, listen.
Okay. Ma'am, in this life, we get what we work, what we earn and work. You want somebody else to pay your bills. That is unfair. It is selfish.
How?
Because you don't have the money. And
I
you
do
said,
have the.
but
I do
not,
have the.
you can afford to put your kids out.
Family
Jesus.
comes from money.
Okay, let me go ahead and get up this mute button. Because you said if somebody wants to come along and put your kids in private school, but you can't afford to put your kids in private school.
That's what you said. I didn't say that I can't afford.
But you said if somebody wants to come along and put your kids in private school, by implication, meaning they're going to be paying for it, not you. I'm not trying to place them.
That's true. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is they'll be paying for it if they're my husband.
No, they're not your husband. They'll be your stepfather.
If they were.
All right. So in other words, guys, pay attention. These are the women you need to pay attention to. These are the women that really don't care about you. Because you said it, ma'am, if it were your sons, you would want him to go start his own family. But you're
I don't like how you.
But I don't care. The word.
Single mom says I value men. Want to be stepdaddy.
Now I'm going to try to find one last clip, and this is on behalf of not only just the Kendra G show. Excuse me, folks, if I seem to have it sound like I may have a cold. That's because I've been lately a tad bit under the weather. Once again, my apologies. Anyways, I'm going to try to show you one last clip. And this clip is on TikTok, or a short clip on behalf of a previous Kendra G show on how delusional some Black unwed mothers could be as far as their dating standards go. Because this happens to be an unwed, or she might have been married before but divorced. Anyway, this particular lady has multiple kids by multiple men, is or has been a part of failed relationships. As a result, all of a sudden, she's now looking for a man making a minimum of at least $100,000 a year, so he could be the main and sole provider in the family, in a family, marriage, relationship, however you would like to classify it as. So bear with me once again, ladies and gentlemen.
Mother of 4 and 2 baby daddies wants a provider male, and she is not paying any bills. Let's talk.
Do you have any kids?
I have 4.
4 kids. How old are you, Marie? I'm sorry.
43.
43? Good.
Oh, thank you.
How old are your kids?
My oldest is 24. I have twins that are 23, and my daughter is 15.
Okay, all by the same man?
The boys are by a different man.
How many men?
2. 2 babies.
Two.
Yeah.
Two. Have you ever been married?
No.
No. What you do for a living, Marie?
I own an online boutique, and I just hustle on the side if I'm not making enough. I'm sorry, I'm kind of nervous.
All right. So Marie, 43, Northern California, 4 kids, mom to 4, a 24-year-old, 2 sets of twins, a set of twins that are 23, a 15-year-old,
yes.
And she owns her online boutique. What's your zodiac sign?
Libra.
Libra.
Yes.
Let's do it. What kind of man you looking for, mama?
I am looking for someone who's consistent, someone who's caring, generally has a happy vibe, stable, is a provider. That's about it.
Okay. What do you mean provider? What do you want to provide for? See, do you want guys paying all the bills? What's your idea in that way?
So if we're living together, yes, you'd have to pay all the bills.
If you're living together, did you ever live with your children's dad?
Yes.
Okay, and they paid all the bills. Okay. So would you pay all bills include like mortgage, rent, light?
Considering, yeah.
What would do you want to financially contribute or no?
No.
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 Would you be buying food or no?
Yeah, I did that. Definitely, yes.
Okay. Provided you move in with, y'all live together, you're paying all the bills. Okay. Doesn't mean you gotta make a certain amount of money.
No, it just has to be something reasonable, something to live off of, something he can pay all the bills with.
Something he can. So enough to pay all the bills. You live in Northern California.
Yes, and it is pretty high, so I can't give you a number, honestly.
Could a man pay all the bills off $100K in Northern California?
Yes.
Okay. Does he have to look for? Could he do it off of $70K?
I'm not sure. I think it depends on what.
Look, I'm about to tell it for you. You probably your energy probably made me choke by even asking that question. The energy's like, bitch, what the hell you gonna ask me about those $70K, bitch? Gotcha. I'm about to choke to death for even disrespecting you by asking that question. So $70K wouldn't be enough.
I don't think so, honestly. Not in this.
Okay. So maybe $100K.
Maybe.
She wants a provider. So she just say, if y'all get together and it gets there, honey, you paying all the bills. She might buy an apple or two.
Exactly.
But she ain't paying no light bill, no gas, no electric, no mortgage, no rent, no rental insurance, no mortgage insurance, no parking space fee.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Yes.
Ooh, so you definitely don't believe in no 50-50 situation.
Oh, not at all. Not at all, no.
Your brain. Tell me why this is such a strong, just here. Why you are very strong, and if you do cohabitate with a man, you shouldn't have to pay any type of bill.
It may just be because that's how I was raised. Even with my first relationship with my boy's dad, he asked me to pay 50-50, and my parents kind of went in on him about that. So it's just how I was raised. My dad, my mom never paid 50-50 on anything, and she still had her own job. So yeah.
Okay, fair enough. That was how you raised. But rightfully so, this was your dad's family, right? Like you were her dad's child, was a stepdad.
Oh, it was both.
Oh, your mom didn't play no games. Both so your mom was married to your dad and then married to another man?
Yes.
And both times she's never paid anything. Say it again.
Providers.
Point blank, period. Mama done set the standard. Is your mama Marcy Harvey? Dude, you sound like you could be Lori Harvey's sister, child.
Right?
Bro, my dad and my stepdad, my mama don't pay no bill.
No.
Mother of 4 and 2 baby daddies.
Well, folks, I'm going to end up wrapping this video up. On that note, let me know how much you like the video by not only just clicking on the like button, but allow me to know in the comment section, sharing your feedback on whether you may have liked the video, disliked the video, whether you may have agree with some of my viewpoints and perspectives, or either disagree on some of my viewpoints and perspectives, make sure you also share the video. You, last but not least, subscribe to the channel. Without further ado, you guys have a blessed day.